welcome. And I'm just waiting for my good friend Graham Hood to stand beside me, because today I have a very important announcement. A lot of people have reached out to me for certain material that's floating around on the internet, to whether it's true over the Governor-General, and the answer is yes.
Yeah!
As we've always said, well, before I get on to that, I have to say welcome to all the Gappers out there. I see a lot of Great Australian Party Gap t-shirts. Look, it's a pleasure to come along and have an opportunity to speak at, before these events have all been apolitical, and the support that we're getting is just overwhelming. And it's really good because it's showing real Australians. In actual fact, if you were to look at around what you're standing next to, you're actually standing right under your rights and freedoms, right under here, and it's just amazing. And today, I've come back from Broome. I am tired, and but I'm right to run this home. And I say that because I have been a former federal senator, and if you look at our material on the website, I've spotted it, I've got all the evidence, and for all the Australian people, let's get our country back. So this is what I've put together. So just bear with me. Constitutional violations to the Commonwealth. Admitted by the Attorney-General in the FOI Freedom of Information responses. I go on to say, in the last week for the run-up to the federal elections, Australians need to know of many political agenda that has been hidden from them, that has been played out over many years and has come to full force in the last 2 years, and that has impacted the lives of all of us in the name of safety and security for the COVID pandemic. Many have graver concerns regarding how we are dictated to concerning the choices we may make concerning our bodies, our medical choices, and those of our children on a program that has been promoted and tested and safe, where that is plainly not true, as this vaccination program can only be in its experimental assessment stage that a vaccine is required to undergo before it may be classed as tested to be called a vaccine. The adverse effects that we are seeing are going unreported to avoid the outcome that may stop the uptake in the public. That is not how the caution of the assessment ought to be allowed to be carried out. We have a duty to ourselves and our neighbour, and most importantly to our children, as to be the prudent in assessing whether any medical option is tested and safe. We are not the servants or provisions of the government that the Labor governments around the states would have us believe. Under the Commonwealth, they are our servants, and they need our endorsement at the ballot box to be chosen as our servants.
Yes!
The Commonwealth is simply the authority of the people, and the Queen is the standard of law that they are held to. Along with the constitutional rule book, this Commonwealth is what the federal governments have denied in many decades after removal of the Great Seal of the Commonwealth, the symbol of our authority. It is true, I received an answer to a Freedom of Information request last year from the Australian Attorney-General, who confirmed that there was no legal basis for the authority to remove the authority of the Australian people by destruction of the Great Seal of the Commonwealth of Australia. In my Freedom of Information request, which will be available on our website, answered by Joanna Baker of the Department of the Attorney-General Office on October 5, 2021, I asked the following. Regarding the authority to terminate the Great Seal of the Commonwealth of Australia, I requested the instrument that overrides, suspends or terminates the indissoluble federal Commonwealth under the Crown of the United Kingdom. Ms Baker responded, no relevant documents were identified, and I'm also satisfied that the documents do not exist within the department's record holdings, which confesses that there is no authority to remove, suspend or substitute the authority of the Australian people with government authority. One has to ask, I'm on song here, why would the Labor government of Gough Whitlam remove the People's Authority of 1973, set in place by the Constitution for the Commonwealth? That singular most important question has not been attended to by any government or court. Earlier, one of my senior advisors, Mr Pitchener, who had prepared our case for restoration of the Commonwealth in London, received a wide-ranging answers to the FOI Freedom of Information request that all Australians should be concerned with, as the answer is no different in the answer to my request. His points of critical interest are: question 1. I request the cause and or reason why the term Commonwealth of Australia was removed from the statutes by passing the Statute Law Revision Act of 1973. The answer from the Attorney-General: it does not exist. 2. I request the cause and or reason why the term Australia was made for the use in place of the prior practice of using the term Commonwealth of Australia. Answer: it does not exist. 3. Question 3. I request the instrument and source of authority for the removal of the authority of the Australian people, term Commonwealth of Australia. Answer: it does not exist. I request the publication issued for sufficient notice advising the Australian people that the removal of the Commonwealth of Australia was to be made or had been undertaken. Answer: it does not exist. I request the cause and or reason why the term Parliament of Australia was made for the use of the Federal Parliament in place of the name Parliament of the Commonwealth. Answer: it does not exist. I request the cause and or reason why the term Australian Gazette was made for the use in the place of publication name Commonwealth Gazette. Answer: it does not exist. I request the instrument for the Constitution of Australia to run the Australian government. It does not exist. Can it be any clearer that the government in Canberra and elsewhere needs an overhaul to put it back in place of legitimacy in serving the Australian people? I have not seen any acknowledgement of the Labor government for their sins in their role of removal as the substitution of the Commonwealth, and I say no reason why the Liberal government has gone along with this scam and criminal behaviour in denial of our Commonwealth. Now here's the juicy part. I just want to let everyone know the AEC and I are at war with each other, and I've actually today referred the Australian Federal Police. They referred me to the Australian Federal Police and I've done the same. Now that has come to the AEC, having assured that an election would in fact be conducted for the Commonwealth, constitutionally compliant, and the Great Seal of the Commonwealth, representing our legal authority, has not been used for that authority of the election. I have no choice but to bring that to the attention of the police by way of complaint and let the wheels of laws take its course. Absolutely. This state of affairs cannot be allowed to go on any longer. And I believe that there is no excuse to deny these documents from the Department of the Attorney-General for the information that is contained within. It is time to take action and rightfully restore our Commonwealth, our rights and our freedoms. I pray that this message is taken on by the consciousness of the Australian public and decide whether the majors ought to have our franchise or consider any of the alternative candidates for your rights and freedoms, for which Great Australian Party is a strong choice. Our documents will be up for inspection at the Great Australian Party website at greataustralianparty.com.au. I am Rod Culleton, and I can tell you I will always stand for the rights of our Australian people. There is 1 week to go. If you want to save your country, here's the evidence, this is the facts. Put the majors last.
I just want to say something quickly. While the march was on, I couldn't catch up because there are a lot of people wanting to talk to us. And one question was asked, when are we going to taste victory? And I said, look around, you already have. When you look at these people and when you're asked in 15, 20 years' time by your grandkids, where were you in 2022? Where were you in 2023? You can say, I was there, and I was there for you.
Yes.
So continue to do that. Now let me tell you, this election isn't going to end the problems we're facing. We're going to have to be doing this into the foreseeable future. Now is not the time to back off and take it easy. Now is not the time. I've had a lot of people say to me, you're looking tired, you need to slow down, you need to back down. Tell that to the diggers at Culleton. Tell that to the guys who fought at the Western Front. Tell that to the guys who walked the Kokoda Trail to force back the Japanese. We'll rest when this is over. Until then, we're in the fight and we're not going anywhere. God bless you.
Yes.
Hello everybody, my name's Paul Richardson and I'm a committee member of the West Australian Building Industry Alliance. We've been about 6 months, we've been a small business unit, mostly building and contractors. We've been pushing back against these mandates as hard as we possibly can. I'm also involved in a non-profit business and basically for the last 6 months we've been helping people push back against the mandates, not only the vaccines but the masks. And effectively, we just want to let you know that we are fighting hard, we're going to push back as much as we can against the vaccines mandatory masks. Effectively, we've worked with the NDA and trying to really push as hard as we can against the period of